In 2020, Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne first disclosed the details of Ozzy's health issues right here on GMA. 2.5 years later, there are challenges still ahead. And a new album for Ozzy, a new show for Sharon, and a big move for them both.
The unrivaled Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne, has spent decades shattering expectations and rewriting the rulebook of rock and roll. This immortal music icon has weathered more chaos and carnage than most of us could fathom in a lifetime. But now a devastating announcement has fans fearing the worst. Is this truly the final chapter for the Prince of Darkness? Has time finally caught up with the man who seemed unstoppable? Or is there a glimmer of hope that Ozzy has one last surprise in store? Join us as we reveal the heartbreaking news and what this means for rock and roll's greatest rebel. A legacy of chaos and glory. What makes a rock legend? Is it the music, the madness, or a life story so outrageous? Of course, all of this may be in comparison to Ozzy Osbourne. He is part of the few names that capture the rebellious essence of rock and roll. From the working-class slums of Birmingham to the global stage as the Prince of Darkness. His life is nothing short of a heavy metal saga, complete with soaring highs, crushing lows, and more bat-biting and antics than anyone could have predicted. But how does one go from a troubled youth to a cultural icon? Born John Michael Osbourne in 1948, Ozzy emerged from the unpolished industrial heart of Birmingham, England, a city known more for its factories than its future rock stars. His childhood wasn't exactly a walk in the park. Undiagnosed dyslexia left him branded as stupid in school. Relentless bullying pushed him to take his life at age 14. And by 17, he was doing time in jail for petty theft. Let's just say his early resume wasn't exactly screaming future rock legend. But was this the end of the road for Ozzy? Not at all, as his music became his lifeline. Inspired by the Beatles, whose harmonies seemed to beam down from another planet, Ozzy realized that music could be his ticket out of the drudgery. So in 1968, destiny came knocking when Ozzy joined forces with Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward to form Black Sabbath. Together, they didn't just start a band. They laid the foundation for what we now call heavy metal. Ozzy's eerie vocals laying over Iommi's bone-rattling guitar riffs were unlike anything the world had ever heard. It was dark and heavy, and it was the musical equivalent of summoning a thunderstorm. Their self-titled debut album in 1970 hit the music scene like a sledgehammer. The track, Black Sabbath, with its ominous tritone riff, practically oozed menace and introduced a new era of rock. Then came Paranoid that same year, an album so iconic it deserves its own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. With anthems like War Pigs and Iron Man, Black Sabbath didn't just make music. They made history and cemented their legendary status. But are the benefits of success too great? Because with his fame came a price. The pressures of stardom led him down a dark path of substance misuse, leading to his 1979 firing from the very band he had helped create. But was this the end of Ozzy Osbourne? Or how does one rise from rock bottom at what appeared to be the lowest point in his life? Sharon Arden, the manager's daughter, appeared. While others regarded Ozzy as a train wreck, she saw potential. With her guidance and an endless supply of patience, Ozzy launched a solo career that didn't just revive his reputation, it redefined heavy metal itself. His debut solo album, Blizzard of Oz in 1980, was nothing short of a revelation. Tracks like Crazy Train became instant classics, proving that Ozzy wasn't just back, he was better than ever. The follow-up album, Diary of a Madman, in 1981, showcased his creative rebirth and solidified his place as a solo artist. But what's rock and roll without a little controversy? Ozzy's stage antics became the stuff of legend or infamy. Who else could bite the head off a dove during a record label meeting and later repeat the stunt with a bat on stage thinking it was a rubber toy? Was he crazy, or was he just giving fans exactly what they wanted? Well, we cannot deny that the crowd went wild, but Ozzy paid the price for his stunt. He had to undergo painful rabies shots, something no rock star would put on their tour rider. Yet if anyone thought this incident would make him tone things down, they were sorely mistaken. Instead, his stage theatrics only became more extreme. But just as Ozzy Osbourne's solo career was reaching dizzying heights, an unimaginable tragedy struck in 1982. Randy Rhoads, his virtuoso guitarist and trusted creative partner, lost his life in a plane crash, leaving Ozzy utterly devastated. The loss was a blow to the very foundation of his career and spirit. But could this devastating chapter have sown the seeds for even more heartbreaking revelations to follow? And was the loss of Rhoads just the beginning of a darker tale for Ozzy? Personal demons. Behind the bat-biting and hell-raising antics of Ozzy Osbourne lies a tale of chaos, survival, and a fight against personal demons that almost extinguished his light. But now, in a revelation that has shaken the rock community to its core, Ozzy has announced he can no longer tour. Through numerous interviews, he has candidly shared the bittersweet pain of being forced off the stage by health challenges, rendering him unable to perform. For someone who has thrived on the electrifying energy of the crowd, this is a deeply heartbreaking reality to face. Is this Ozzy's final farewell? Or could this be the end of the Prince of Darkness as we know him? And what has brought him to this point? Ozzy's life has always been a spectacle, both on and off the stage. His struggles with substance misuse, tumultuous relationships, and physical decline have often been as headline-grabbing as his music. But how did it all begin? In the early days of Black Sabbath, Ozzy's first marriage to Thelma Riley was collateral damage in his whirlwind rock star lifestyle. While Thelma cared for their children, Jessica, Louie, and her son Elliot, Ozzy was caught up in a haze of substance misuse, excessive drinking, and the excesses of fame. Unsurprisingly, by 1982, their marriage crumbled under the weight of his habits. Looking back, Ozzy has called the way he treated his wife Thelma one of the biggest regrets of his life. Not too long after his marriage ended, Sharon Arden, daughter of Black Sabbath's manager and a woman who became both Ozzy's greatest ally and his ultimate test, entered the picture. Their relationship was nothing less than a rock and roll paradox, passionate, volatile, and unbreakable. Behind their wild romance and public success, Sharon endured unimaginable and unthinkable cruelty as Ozzy battled his demons. The darkest moment came in 1989 when a blackout drunk Ozzy attempted to strangle Sharon's, whispering chillingly, "We've made a decision. You have to die." What would you do if the person you loved most became your greatest threat? In Sharon's case, she stayed. But why did she stay? Did she know that Ozzy's story wasn't over yet? Or did she see the broken man beneath the monster? Through multiple stints in rehab, public scandals, and endless humiliations, Sharon never gave up, and her belief in him became the foundation for his eventual redemption. Yet another storm Ozzy Osbourne weathered was in 1986, when he faced a shocking lawsuit from the parents of John McCollum. They alleged that their son had been driven to take his own life by the lyrics of Ozzy's haunting track, Suicide Solution. The case stirred widespread debate, with critics accusing Ozzy of glorifying self-destruction, while fans and experts defended the song's deeper commentary on the dangers of alcoholism. But even as lawsuits and scandals swirled around him like an unrelenting storm, a more insidious challenge was brewing in the background. Sadly, Ozzy's body was quietly betraying him. Medical tests uncovered a fascinating secret hidden in Ozzy Osbourne's DNA, a genetic mutation that rendered him unusually resistant to the ravages of substance misuse. It was a discovery that explained the unexplainable. How he survived decades of substance misuse and even the occasional cocktail of household chemicals. So, what happens when the invincible Prince of Darkness, the man who defied science and logic, comes face to face with a battle even darker than his heaviest riffs, the heartbreaking truth? The world got an unvarnished look at the vulnerable side of rock royalty when Sharon Osbourne, ever the lioness protecting her pride, snapped at the paparazzi. "Leave him some dignity, would you?" Off. With those words, the curtain was pulled back, revealing the raw truth of Ozzy Osbourne's ongoing battle, not against critics or rivals, but against his own body. To millions, Ozzy is the immortal godfather of heavy metal, a man whose voice could shake arenas and whose antics became rock legend. But behind the iconic persona lies a human being grappling with an adversary no guitar solo can silence, a body that's been betraying him in ways no one saw coming. The turning point came in 2019. What seemed like a simple fall at home unleashed a torrent of complications. Old injuries from his harrowing 2003 ATV accident, an ordeal that left him with spinal damage, fractured ribs, and an 8-day coma, came roaring back to haunt him. As if that wasn't enough, the fall led to a diagnosis of PRKN2 Parkinson's disease, a rare and unrelenting condition that chips away at mobility with tremors and nerve pain as its cruel companions. In a gut-wrenching interview, Sharon revealed, he can no longer walk. It's affected his legs. The image of Ozzy, once a stage-dominating force, unable to take a single step unassisted, is a bitter irony too sharp for words. By 2024, on the Osbournes podcast, Ozzy described walking as feeling like bricks tied to his feet. Yet in true Ozzy fashion, he added with a smirk on Ozzy's boneyard, "I've made it to 2025. I can't walk, but there are people who didn't do half as much as me and didn't make it." That's the thing about Ozzy Osbourne. He's always been a master of defiance. Whether biting heads off bats or defying the odds in life-threatening accidents, he's never been one to go quietly into the night. But now, as he steps into what might be the final act of an extraordinary saga, one can't help but wonder, how does a man who's given everything to the world find peace when his own body turns against him? Ozzy's story isn't just about heavy metal or wild antics. It's about resilience. It's about staring down fate with a smirk and a raised eyebrow. As the Prince of Darkness faces this cruel twist of fate, one thing is certain. Legends like him don't fade. They burn on, leaving behind echoes that will never die. The question isn't whether Ozzy will rise again. It's how loudly he'll laugh in the face of whatever comes next. The metal god final bow? At age 75, the man who once turned a bat into an impromptu snack and survived decades of rock and roll chaos is preparing for his greatest challenge yet. Battling Parkinson's disease and injuries that have stolen his mobility, Ozzy Osbourne is gearing up for a farewell performance as epic as his storied career. But will this final act satisfy fans who followed his wild ride for over 5 decades? In a stunning announcement, Sharon Osbourne revealed that Ozzy will reunite with Black Sabbath on July 5th, 2025 at Birmingham's iconic Villa Park. The event, fittingly titled Back to the Beginning, is not just a reunion. It's Ozzy's final bow, a full-circle moment in the very city where his journey began. This is his full stop, Sharon told the BBC, her words brimming with a poignant finality. But how do you bid farewell to a legend who feels larger than life? And can Birmingham handle the emotional storm this historic night will bring? Promising to be nothing short of extraordinary, the event will feature metal heavyweights like Metallica and Pantera. For fans, this isn't merely a concert, it's a pilgrimage. Rumors suggest Ozzy will perform from a custom-designed throne, with whispers of a gravity-defying stunt where the throne might soar above the crowd. Though he won't take the stage for a full set, Ozzy will make his presence unforgettable by joining in for bits and pieces of the show. It was also said that the proceeds from the concert will support Parkinson's research in children's hospitals, making this not just a farewell, but a heartfelt gesture of gratitude. Even with Parkinson's limiting his movements, Sharon reassures fans, his voice is as good as it's ever been. Imagine it this, Ozzy, cane in hand, belting out Crazy Train with the fire of 1980. Is there anything more metal than refusing to let a neurodegenerative disease silence you? The journey here hasn't been easy. Diagnosed with PRKN2 Parkinson's, a rare form causing tremors and nerve damage, Ozzy pursued treatments including stem cell therapy. Though the pandemic delayed a trip to Switzerland for specialized care, he pushed forward with innovative solutions. "I've never felt this weak before," he admitted, a vulnerable confession from a man whose body has defied logic for decades. Scientists even identified a genetic mutation that explains his seemingly superhuman resilience. Should we call him the Wolverine of heavy metal? Despite these battles, 2024 delivered a triumphant high note. Ozzy was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a solo artist, his second induction after Black Sabbath's honor in 2006. This recognition cements his legacy as a defining force in heavy metal, a legacy that transcends music itself. It raises the inevitable question: what does heavy metal look like without him? Ozzy is more than a musician. He's a cultural phenomenon. His career gave us era-defining riffs, unforgettable albums, and moments of sheer audacity. From the Osbournes' reality show, where he became everyone's favorite foul-mouthed dad, to his iconic stage antics, Ozzy has always been an icon. As we count down to July 5th, 2025, one thing is undeniable. This isn't just a farewell concert, it's a celebration of an indomitable spirit. "I'm still here, and I'm not going anywhere," Ozzy said. Parkinson's may have slowed him down, but it will never dim the fire of the Prince of Darkness, the bittersweet symphony farewell. The news landed hit like a thunderous power chord to the chest. Ozzy Osbourne, the legendary Prince of Darkness, is gearing up for what could be his final curtain call. For metalheads around the world, it felt like the volume on their favorite anthem had suddenly been turned down, a moment that felt surreal and too heavy to comprehend. It felt like someone hit pause on their favorite riff, an emotional gut punch that left fans reeling. Social media erupted in a storm of emotions, grief, gratitude, and disbelief. From Birmingham's gritty pubs to the world's grandest stages, tributes flooded in faster than a shredding guitar solo. Iconic names like Metallica, Slash, and Gene Simmons joined the chorus, celebrating a legacy like no other, and saluting a career that's as legendary as it is untouchable. But then came the clip, a now viral video of the Prince of Darkness lifting weights and practicing his autograph for Monsterpalooza. It sent fans on an emotional roller coaster and fans spiraling into an emotional mosh pit. Some couldn't hide their concern, posting comments like, "Ozzy doesn't look like he's doing too hot," while others nervously added, "This makes me worried," or "Stay strong, Ozzy." And yet, in true Ozzy fashion, his fan base didn't linger in despair. One fan quipped, "He's actually easier to understand now than in the 80s. While another joked, "Ozzy has more energy than me, and I'm only 46. Fans shared heartfelt stories of how Ozzy's music shaped their lives. One user opened up about how listening to "Mama, I'm Coming Home" carried them through their darkest days. Another reminisced about a 2002 concert that he still describes as the best night of their life. And then there were the posts that truly resonated. Fans finding strength in Ozzy's battle with Parkinson's. One viral tweet put it best. If Ozzy can face this and still show up for us, I can face anything. For fans, this is heartbreaking news. A sobering reminder that even the legends we hold most dear are human. But for Ozzy, it's simply another chapter in an epic saga filled with soaring triumphs and crushing tragedies. Still, with all the love and nostalgia swirling, one question looms over the metal world. Will Ozzy make it to his final stage in July? The uncertainty hangs heavy in the air, like the last aching note of an unforgettable guitar solo. Fans who've cheered every comeback are now crossing their fingers and whispering silent prayers for one last encore. One thing's for sure, Ozzy has never been one to go quietly into the night. If this truly is his final song, it promises to be unforgettable, louder, wilder, and more electrifying than anyone else could ever dream. Ozzy isn't just a rock star. He's a walking paradox of madness and brilliance. While he may be preparing to take his final bow, his influence will continue to roar through speakers for generations to come. After all, you can dim the lights, but you can't extinguish the fire of a true legend. Thanks for watching, fam. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Before you leave, you should check out the next video that pops up on your screen.